wherever you go, you bring the magic. Wherever you go, you bring the magic. And this is something that has been coming in so strong for the collective right now. We are our own godly self. Like, we are the gods that are descending on this planet to help with the reascension of this planet. And by us just being here, by us just being present, recognizing our powerful selves, recognizing our magic within, we bring the magic wherever we go. By us just walking our dog down the street, we are activating the land beneath us, the land that our feet are stepping on, to hold that magic, to hold that presence. We're activating all the rivers, the creeks, the lakes, the oceans, the forests, the mountains, the houses, the people, the animals around us. We're activating them to such a level that it activates the magic within them, but your energy signature allows, it kind of gives them a permission to step into that, to step into their magical self. And I feel like this is something that we forget about, that we have to do a live stream, and we have to post, and we have to send emails and whatever. I don't know. We have to do these like mundane, doesn't perceive as magical things. And by us just coming back to center, by us just doing something that allows us to recognize the magic within us, whether it's doing a quantum realm visitation, a parallel realm visitation, a meditation, maybe it's just sitting there and remembering all of the miraculous and magical things in your life, that alone, you sitting there remembering your magic, activates the whole planet in itself. We're getting to a point in time where we don't need to do these intense or otherworldly activities to make an impact. Like, they're amazing, but like, we don't need to go on retreats all the time, and we don't need to hold intention circles or goddess circles, or we don't need to have this next level session or do this next level program all the time. By us just simply sitting there, remembering our magic, recognizing our power, it activates the whole planet, and it gives every single person and being around us permission to do the same. And I was talking to a client in a session that I just had, and hey Brittany, I was talking to a client in a session that we just did, and it was their last Dancing with Dragons session, and it's basically just an integration session. And it's usually a dragon session, right? And we're doing the session, this person's magical, but like lions come in, and Pegasus and unicorns and dragons were there, but then all these like goddess and gods were coming in, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you're so magical. And then she goes on saying that the house that she moved into, there's a forest behind the house, and she was like, I honestly think I brought magic to the forest. I'm like, duh, you did. Like, every single person watching this, whether it's live or watching the replay, wherever you go, you're giving permission for the magic to come there. So when you move to a house and there's a forest or a creek or an ocean or a lake or whatever, there's something near it, you're giving that permission to be a magical portal again. Like, forests and oceans and lakes, they're all magical portals into different realms. And so you're giving that forest the permission to remember how magical it is, or your coworkers or your family or your colleagues. Like, I don't know how many times I've gone to like a family get together, and they're so mundane, and then all of a sudden we're talking about, I was saying, all of a sudden we're like sitting around a campfire talking about witchcraft and fairies and dragons, and we're pulling oracle cards, and Tyler always says to me, he's like, I don't know how you did it. Like, these people are like the least magical people. And I'm like, no, they're not. They've just forgotten how magical they were. And by me being here, by me just being myself, unfiltered, just talking about this, it gives them permission to also engage in it. And it was so funny because I've seen this so many times today. So it was like in that client session, but it was also, hey, Anya. I also had a conversation with my dad today. So my dad called me, and he was like, oh my God, and my dad, I love him. He might be watching. My dad loves to watch my live streams. So hi, Dad, if you're watching. He called me today, and he's not like fully in this magical world. He knows what I do. Oh my God, he just hopped on. Hey, Dad. So I'm talking about you a little bit. So my dad knows what I do, but doesn't like fully understand it completely. I don't think. He can correct me if I'm wrong. But he called me, and this is like the other occurrence. So he called me and was like, I just met this most magical man ever. I had a 7-hour conversation with him at their golf club. And he was like, now I understand like how magical this earth is, and like how magical the things you do. And it was so amazing because that man to my dad was a mirror of how magical my dad is. Like, it happens in this whole universe. Like, me to my client today, I get to mirror how magical she is, and we brought that into the container. And all of my programs, I get to show people how magical the earth is and how magical you are and all the things around you. Like, I can be sitting in traffic and I'm looking around and like, oh my God, this world is so magical, because I see dragons in the sky and I see fairies in the grass on the side of the road, and I see people's familiars like sitting in their car with them, and I see dragons wrapped around people, hugging them all the time. And it's so, like, the way I see the world, I see you as your higher self. I see you as your godly self. And that alone, and by you guys doing this as well, by you seeing people as their higher self and seeing yourself as your most powerful being, by simply just doing that, you are giving every single person around you permission to do the same. So like for my dad today, it was yesterday, that man was able to show my dad how magical everything was in a way that he could understand it. Because we're not made for everyone, right? Everyone needs to have that perfect mirror that really shows them that. And so that was his perfect magical mirror, and that made me so happy. And that's what I wanted to come on and talk about, is like, we don't need to do these crazy next level things all the time. Just simply remembering who we are and how magical we are, and then putting on those magical glasses, those goggles, and seeing the whole earth like that. Like, I don't see a disgusting concrete jungle. I don't see people being snobby or rude or uptight or racist or sexist. I always just see their higher self and how magical they are. And yeah, I can get a sense of what their conscious character is right now, but I never when I'm interacting with people, I never interact with their conscious character if it isn't of the highest love and light. I constantly interact with their higher self, the most magical part of them. And by me setting that intention, like I said in the beginning of the live stream, mundane things need to be more intentional now. So every live stream now, I set the intention of what the message is and who's supposed to see it, and whenever they're ready to see it, they'll see it. Same thing with conversations. When we're talking to muggle people or mundane people, it's really easy for our vibration to drop down, but for us to just see their magical self, unfiltered, just their whole godly self, it raises their vibration, and that is so powerful. And if we can all do that, this world everyone would have their magical goggles on and be seeing dragons flying everywhere and unicorns running in forests and fairies dancing in gardens. And for some people, I probably sound like I'm on drugs. But I don't care, because my life is so good because of that. My life is so magical. I don't have shitty days. And if I do, then it's usually because my vibration drops and I just raise it again. I look at how beautiful and miraculous it was. And so what the whole message is of this is that don't think you're not doing enough. Don't think you're not magical enough. By you simply just recognizing the magic in yourself and other people, you're doing this planet choking on dust here. You're doing this planet a huge favor. Or did I just inhale a fairy? See? And yeah. And that's like amazing. So that's kind of like what I do every day, is just see the magic within everything, and it comes back to me times 1,000 through miracles and magic and everything.